Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 23209 Southwest Orchard Heights Place here in Sherwood. We are located right at the, just barely to the left of the front door. I orient as if you're standing in the street facing the front door of the home. It's 3 deck boards away from the front of the house and about a foot and a half to the left of the doorway. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running. We are zeroed out and off we go. Little bit of a belly there right out of the gate. We'll see how that drains out at the end. It's a very short-lived section. It's about 3 to 5 feet long. There's probably going to be maybe a 1/4 inch of water left over there. And on this kind of setup here, where you have a house that sits down below grade, down below street level, it's a very common occurrence to have standing water. It's, for whatever reason, it often results in that. Even if the main is 20 feet deep and you've got more than enough room to grade the line, for some odd reason, you often end up with standing water. So the plus side is we're in plastic sewer pipe here. We're not in old nasty cast iron or concrete with rough pipe walls. As you can see, the line is quite clean. Most of these bellies like this in standing water, until they get to a really significant level, really come down to how the homeowner is treating the line. You know, so far the standing water we've gone through is not the kind that would even come close to causing a blockage unless you were abusing the sewer line. So right about in here at about 73 feet, I can see the color of the pipe wall has changed. It looks like we're in 3034 PVC now. I would imagine it's also going to be 4-inch diameter. You can see we're sporadically going through bellies here as we go. And for whatever reason, my camera's decided to remain upside down for a long bunch of this scope here. But so far, there's not even enough buildup in this line to recommend $5 in drain cleaning on it. So the standing water, you know, regardless of how it looks, all said and done, drained out. If I can't even recommend you hydrojet the sewer line, this is not stuff I would recommend you fix. The big thing with standing water at the level this is at anyway, this is relatively minor as it relates to standing water, is not putting cooking oil, grease down the line, wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, junk like that. Stuff that does not disintegrate readily is the stuff you want to avoid putting down the line. Otherwise, based on the cleanliness of this line, proper items are clearly getting from point A to point B. And this is a kind of standing water because it is sporadically throughout the line. This is not a situation where for some reason, repair it. You would have to redo the entire sewer line end to end to correct it, which does not make sense, again, for a line I couldn't even recommend you do a jet on, let alone a repair. And there's the main connection there at 100, it's a long sewer line too, 122 feet. And lines that push over, I've been doing this, if I've mentioned it, I apologize, but I've been doing this for 13 years. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines. The average sewer line out there that pushes over 90 to 100 feet very commonly will have standing water in it. It's not an ideal thing, but it's a very difficult thing when you're trying to grade a line this long. 100% artificially, when you're down below grade like this, it all has to be cut into the ground. Hoping and praying every inch of it stays put is kind of wishful thinking. So we're going to go locate really quick here while the pipe drains off. We'll take a second look at everything as we come back. All right, it's been located at the camera head. Line terminates into the manhole. If you were to go stand in the cul-de-sac and face the front of the house or front door, you've got two manholes out there. The sewer manhole is the one that has two vent holes in it. The storm system will have about 20. And that manhole, or the sewer manhole anyway, is kind of situated to the right of the driveway from that orientation. So the line kind of gets out to the end of the driveway, makes a little bit of a turn, and then shoots off to that manhole there. That end piece of pipe there got a little dinged up. That was probably from the installation process. Those little ripples in the pipe have no bearing on any functionality whatsoever. So we've got standing water leading up to the main, and I'm going to write this up as there's no reason to go mapping out every single belly because they are throughout the line. I'm just going to write the report up as, you know, you've got sporadic standing water throughout the whole length of the line here. We'll take a look at that right now. All right, thus far here, coming back through the standing water, I have no areas here that have exceeded. We're hardly breaking even a 1/4 inch of standing water. We're closer to the 1/16 of an inch realm for most of what we've seen so far. So very minor stuff, and nothing that comes even close to the significance of redoing a line this length. It would be just overkill beyond belief. The only stuff that hangs up in standing water that minor, by and large, are very abusive items. Paper towels, wipes, things of that nature. Flushable wipes I include in that category. They really have no business going down your sewer line. The other one is the main one is cooking oil and grease, fats in general. If you dump a lot of grease down the pipe, it'll build up in a line that's perfectly graded. But standing water tends to concentrate grease because it cools down and it kind of floats at the top and starts to collect on the sidewalls. So it's a good one to avoid. But that whole section there, you've got standing water throughout much of it. The overwhelming majority is under a 1/4 of an inch. This one spot here at the transition, my camera's kind of in a nosedive as it goes over the transition joint there, which kind of throws things off a little bit. Your worst spot there is barely over a 1/4 inch of water. So if you do have a large household, you know, I'm not going to beat anyone up because they like to fry up tasty food. They're too busy to wash everything out. You know, some households, it's worthwhile if it's a big home. Resculpt the line. See how it looks after a year or two. If you're getting any kind of buildup of any concern, I'd rather see someone spend a few $100 hydrojetting the line every few years than doing repairs to that extent. It just doesn't make sense. Alrighty, we are back to the clean out access at this point. I'm going to flip the camera around here for just a moment and go back to the foundation wall. Once we get through the foundation wall, everything beyond that point is exposed piping. I got a little bit of gunk in my lens there. Anyway, from the clean out access to the main lateral connection, you have a couple areas there where the standing water is getting up around ½ an inch or so, but nothing I would consider repair worthy. Not especially when you consider the layout this house has to it. It's just not one that I would ever expect to have a perfectly graded sewer line. No settling issues or anything going back to the foundation wall. As we sit here today, we have adequate flow all the way out to the main lateral connection. All the pipe we just scoped there, all of it is intact. It's an extremely clean sewer line. That is exactly how your line should look if being treated properly. You had a little bit of grease buildup going back into the house, but very, very minor amounts of it. It's nothing that needs cleaning. The sewer line is functioning at this time. And once again there, I'm sure I've mentioned it enough times now, all things put together, the standing water, in my opinion, is a long ways off from needing repair work. This is one of those lines that you just treat it properly like these folks are, and you will have a functioning sewer line.